Hey guys, what's going on? Druzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer video and another new legendary card coming to South Park Phone Destroyer. This is our third card of the new year in 2022. So we've had one every other month thus far throughout the course of the year because it is May about to start up here once this card actually goes live. So Alchemist Scott, which of course is representing Scott Malkinson. Now this card art, at least for this card, was leaked long time ago, back at the very beginning of the actual game. Like one of the first data leaks that ever kind of came out for this game had this Scott Malkinson card, and a lot of people thought it was going to be like Ranger Scott or something like that for this card. And obviously it's been a long time coming, over 4 years of the game being out, that this card art, at least I've seen this card art over 4 years ago, as many of you may have as well. Here we go, Alchemist Scott again, 146 base health, 99 base damage at level 1. He also has a very unique ability where he deals area damage to marked targets, and he has also a charged ability that marks the 3 nearest enemy units within range as well. There's a very interesting AoE style base attack that he has, or at least the kind of charge ability and all that and whatnot. It is not necessarily it's not a war cry or anything like that. We will have some gameplay footage of this card so you can check it all out and all that kind of good stuff. But let's really quickly look at the card stats, because that's what some of you care about, right? Within a new card scenario. So here we go with their kind of max stats at certain points. Now remember, the goal for every basically legendary card is to try to get to max level 5. So at max level 5, you got 520 base health, 352 damage, 294 power damage. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure on how that's really going to function as far as the AoE or what the marked targets necessarily means. Again, we'll just have to watch the gameplay, kind of really break that all down for you and whatnot. There we go. So the challenge or friendly battle rules, or at least his card level, would be 146, 99, and 88, which of course is base 1 stats. So there you go. That's kind of a look at what we have here with Alchemist Scott. Now, let's get to what you guys really care about, right? The gameplay footage of Alchemist Scott. Let's see what we got going on. So there you go, getting the Robin tweak. So you see the kind of ability that he casts out. So as he spawns in, you see immediately he kind of marks with kind of this kind of dust field attack, I guess you could say. So he's going to mark there against Calamity Heidi, or he's going to get that attack there against those 3 targets. You see kind of the dust plume clouds kind of thing with the kind of ash, I guess, effect. And you see that the explosion or the AoE blast goes there on that attack there. So the charged ability seems to be the one that activates the marking. And then, of course, the AoE explosion is his actual basic attack from the looks of it, as far as what I'm seeing here. You see his basic attack, it does the AoE. And then his charge is the one that does the marking. You see, he's got some pretty decent range, so he can sit outside of New Kid Zap range. That is very key to kind of pay attention to. Again, here comes the mark. He's going to hit the 3 enemies. It's actually going to hit visitors. I don't know if the mark is kind of a debuff of some kind or something like that. That's not really explained. But then obviously you have the AoE effect. Use basics and whatnot. There we go. They hit there. So that didn't actually basic attack, which is kind of strange. So is the AoE base, or is the marks what causes the AoE? Okay. So that solves the problem. So whatever he marks, as you see here, he's going to mark Randy and alternate human kite. Then the first basic attack he hits after marking the enemy what causes the AoE explosion. And it seems to prioritize against the first enemy unit, or the closest enemy unit to him that he has marked. And he AoE attacks through the marked duration. Interesting. So we can have multiple AoE attacks based on how many marked enemies are still alive. So I think the Alchemist Scott actually is going to be very good in this current meta, because this meta is very beefier, kind of tank focused meta. And he's going to be able to kind of, if he's able to mark a lot of very beefy units, as you can see, he can get a lot of AoE damage out there, which is pretty insane. Obviously, he seems to pair pretty well with Robin Tweak, giving him that bonus health pool. helping them stay alive a little bit longer with they're in the same theme, so they're going to work very well together. Obviously, he's going to pair very well with something like Alvin King Bradley in the same theme as well. Going to boost that range damage and attack, where you see here Alvin King Bradley used almost immediately after I say it. I wasn't actually paying attention to the card rotation, to be honest with you. Hunter Jimbo worked well, right? Remember, he can boost the range damage as well. So there's going to be, you know, some variety kind of cards you can pair with this card. But Scott Malkinson is kind of a favorite character of mine. Not what my most favorite, but one of my more favorite characters. So it'll be interesting to see some different combinations that people are going to come up with here with Scott Malkinson. So you see the AoE, the aura effect of it, but it seems, again, he seems to be focusing on whatever his priority target is, which in this case is Hunter Jimbo, is what he's focusing that AoE attack. The AoE explosion doesn't seem to have a huge aura or huge radius. So, although it looks to be somewhat powerful, it doesn't seem to be big enough that it seems to really affect too many units here. But he gets his charge back fairly quickly. You see that charge bar is filling up fairly quickly here on screen. So he should be able to get his charge back, be able to proc those AoE bursts fairly consistently. Now, one thing that would be nice to see is, can it target, it should be able to target air units. So here you're going to see Thunderbird in the air, so obviously yes, you can see as a range card, you can target those air units. Do that kind of AoE explosion. It does seem to have a slightly subtle kind of stuff as well on the AoE. I'm not 100% on that, but it seems to kind of slightly have that. The effect of the actual AoE explosion is really cool, if anything else. The effectiveness of it is a completely other thing for this percent. I guess my initial impressions here when I really look at this card and I kind of break it down, this card doesn't really feel overpowered to me. It definitely feels like it has some value. I think that it will be good within this meta. But as I look at this card at base value, now again, granted, we're looking at this based on friendly level stats. So it's only level 1. We're not looking at it at someone that has it at a very high tier level versus somebody that doesn't. And we're looking at it, you know, constructively and saying, oh, well, obviously this card is insanely overpowered. Obviously, depending on level, could really determine how efficient this card is going to be. But overall, when I look at the card, I'm not just looking at it and saying, hey, no, this card is insane. There's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to deal with this card on a regular, on a consistent level. I think this card will definitely have value at different functions within the game, whether it's Chaos Mode, whether it's Team Wars. And I think it will actually be valuable on ladder. Again, I don't know how overpowered this is really going to be just on paper at level 1 stats. But I see the potential of this card and the value, again, that I've said now a few times, with this card based on the way the meta is kind of focusing right now. And it just gives Fantasy another really strong card. I mean, to pair with... Fantasy has a lot of good range cards right now with value. You know, with Kyle of the Drow Elves can give it shielding. You've obviously got Robin Tweak can give it that bonus health, which was used multiple times in this video, or the video compilation that Red Links gave us. And so, you know, there's some definite potential there. You could pair it with even maybe Castle Defender to some degree. It could be probably pretty strong behind something like Grand Wizard Cartman with a lot of health, assuming that Grand Wizard Cartman doesn't go down. And you could probably utilize the fact that, a Chicky Coop Swarm could help potentially kind of keep him at the back line and keep the focus kind of away from him. But right now, with the way the meta looks, obviously a lot of people at high tier ladder use Incan Craig. Incan Craig could probably very easily deal with him based on his stat levels with his beam. Obviously, someone like Som, if he could get multiple charges off, could take him out probably fairly quickly. Arrow Storm could deal with him. Lightning Bolt could probably deal with him. There are going to be some, very easy counters, I feel like, for Alchemist Scott. But I still feel like the potential's there if you can keep him alive and utilize his true strengths. I still think he could be a solid card overall in the game. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. He should be available in this upcoming weekend event that's going to be coming up after the announcement of this card going live here. So there you go. The newest legendary is going to be coming to the game. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, this is way too many legendary cards now. We're kind of saturating the pool of the game with too many legendary cards. I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree with that statement. Obviously, there have been a lot more legendaries, it seems like, being focused on lately with some of the newer additions within the game. Obviously, Arrow Tower was the most recent card added before this one that was a common. So, but again, I mean, like, fantasy needs some love. I know that superheroes, as much as people don't want to admit it, need some more cards. It's still a kind of a minimalized loot pool right now in the game, but it's such a strong theme as well that it's like, do you really want them to have more power? So, there's some pros and cons here, but I am excited for this card coming out. I do like Scott Malkinson as a character, so excited to have him have another card in the game other than just superheroes. There you go, Alchemist Scott coming to the game for the fantasy theme as a ranged legendary card. What are your thoughts and feelings of this new card down below, and of what we talked about with more legendary cards coming to the game? Is that a pro, con, in your opinion, within Phone Destroyer and all that kind of good stuff? I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in to these videos and my streams. I always appreciate the love and support from this community. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good day, and catch you in the next one. Until then,